The rain fell in waves that night, not soft and thoughtful, but hard and sneering, as if the clouds were in on the joke. Every time the door of the gallery opened, a cold gust swept inside, dragging with it the metallic sting of wet concrete and rotting leaves. I stood outside beneath the tangerine glow of a failing street lamp, my skin slick, hair plastered to my forehead, shirt clinging to my back. I clutched the handle of my Osmo 3 prototype with a numb hand, feeling the weight of it pull through my shoulder and down my spine. I half wished it would drag me to the pavement, where I could vanish into the cracks. I kept replaying the way Merle had looked at me, my cousin's wife, porcelain and sharp, her makeup so precise the rain wouldn't dare smudge it, as I set Osmo 3 in front of the curator. "It's charming, Maya, but isn't this more the sort of thing for a science fair?" Her words hovered between kindness and cruelty. She knew, standing by the wine table beside those painted canvases and glass sculptures, exactly how to pitch her tone so I'd feel it keep burning hours later. Inside, laughter and the cackling of cutlery and crystal clashed together, muffled by the rain-smudged windows. I'd been this persistent clown for months, a robotics engineer with a hobby, a girl who'd left her UBC job for playtime, as Dad liked to put it. In their eyes, I was naive, carrying wire and code where I should have sported brushes or watercolors, failing to understand what art really meant. I'd told myself the gallery rejection wouldn't matter, but every slantwise look, every sympathetic sigh, and especially the raised eyebrow of my Uncle Raj, all those things swept over me as I slogged home beneath the watery streetlights. My sneakers squished. The bus never came, though I waited. So I walked, the city hushing me with shimmering silence and the off-key song of passing cars. By the time I reached my cramped apartment, Osmo 3 seemed heavier. My breath came shallow, facing the familiar stack of unopened bills, the table scattered with soldering irons and burnt coffee mugs. I towed off my shoes, voice low and bitter. "It's just the start, Osmo." I patted the bot's rounded aluminum shell. "We'll get it right." It was strange how humiliation carved patience deep inside you, like a river making its slow bed. I picked Osmo 3 up and began tinkering, shifting its gyros, coaxing more fluid movement from its simple arms. I ignored the whine of the radiator and the drip from the ceiling, fixing my sense of self in cold steel and blinking LEDs. The next morning, Mom called. "Did you see Merle's pictures from the launch?" I could almost hear the silkiness of her blouse against her neck. "Maybe next time, Maya. Maybe focus on practical work. Robotics should be for solving problems, not games." I set the phone down, turning the speaker away as she kept talking. I let her voice blur, forcing my attention back to struggling code. Sometimes I wondered if love meant this endless stream of gentle deprecation, as if crushing my ambition might keep me safe. I tested Osmo 3 in Chinatown, in the back rooms of noodle shops with linoleum floors, and later on half-empty buses when the drivers let me ride free. I filmed little videos, Osmo bringing me a mug, navigating a stair-step. I emailed 1,000 companies, got 1,000 polite regrets or no response at all. Repairs and parts chewed through my savings. I took temp gigs, tutoring, night shifts at a convenience store, answering tech support calls from irate strangers who couldn't find their printer buttons. In those months, Vancouver seemed both too large and too small. The mountains pressed against the sky, and the city's immense sprawl only reminded me how few places I belonged. Friends and family shrank, their calls coming less often. Dad's emails became lists of job postings. A good robotics company in Burnaby redesigned, rewired, returned. After 3 months, Osmo 3 ferried glasses of water across trembling hands, fetched books from the far shelf. The staff clapped, One old woman pressed my hand in both of hers. The director sent a shaky video and tagged me with "Student Engineer Helps Our Center" on Facebook. A local blogger picked it up. The small piece went a little viral, bringing a trickle of interview requests and speaking invitations. On a whim, I submitted to a Vancouver tech competition, tweaking Osmo 3 to navigate signal-blocked parking garages and deliver packages. It finished third, but the right people noticed. Small business owners, then 2 professors from SFU, curious about my algorithms. My inbox filled, then overflowed. I found my days changed. Instead of temp shifts and bill anxiety, I had meetings, Zoom, then eventually in person. I was invited to talks, panels, hands-on workshops in drafty rec centers, sometimes with only a dozen attendees, sometimes hundreds crammed onto plastic chairs. Journalists from the CBC began calling. Grants followed, then a cramped workbench at a startup incubator, then a team of 3 part-time students. 4 years slipped past. I slept rarely, but each day brought a tangible piece of proof. Osmo 4 with smoother movement, Osmo 5 with natural speech synthesis. I went to robotics conferences in Toronto, then California, then a November trip to Tokyo. I returned to Vancouver each time, hungry to build, to iterate, to get it right. During holidays, when I thought I might finally have impressed them, I called home. Dad's silence was awkward. Mom struggled to describe my work. Something to do with the elderly, I think. She makes gadgets. It's very modern. Sometimes Merle would post in the family thread, "Happy for you, Maya. Still have your robot?" When the business turned a profit, I tried to share this with my parents. They responded with a kind of weary relief, as if I'd at last returned to be accepted fold. As for the rest of my extended family, and the few community members who'd seen me lugging awkward machines through rainy streets in those early days, I was still the one who'd brought a science fair project to a gallery. 5 years after the rejection, I was invited to present at the Vancouver Robotic Showcase. We were debuting Osmo 7, more agile, able to adapt to both community centers and small homes, ready for commercial distribution. Investors would attend, but so too would doctors, educators, and designers. The organizers expected TV news, even a few members of the city council. They wanted me, local girl made good, someone wrote in the invitation, to bring both myself and my family. After some internal wrangling, I sent the email. "I'd like to invite you all to the showcase next month. It's important to me. Please come." The response was muted, hesitant. "Of course," Mom replied. "Let us know the details." Dad simply wrote, "We'll see." I tried not to overthink it. I drilled my team. We rehearsed the live demonstration. I reminded myself that this was about impact, not status. Still, the week of the event, I barely slept more than 2 hours each night. The showcase was held in the north building of the convention center. Its floor-to-ceiling glass offering views of the harbor, where rain struck steel-blue waves just as it had that night outside the gallery. I arrived early, badge clipped at my throat, the 5 units of Osmo 7 lined up in matte gray like well-trained soldiers. My heart pounded, sweat prickling beneath my pressed blazer, the place filled with the scent of fresh coffee, distant hot dogs, and the ozone tang of computers. Voices echoed through the glass corridors, radio hosts setting up, business types on cell phones, high schoolers gawking at drones that looped and fluttered. I scanned the crowd for my parents. I scanned for faces, Merle, Uncle Raj, Dad's old poker friends, anyone from those rainy nights. Uncertainty stabbed. Were they coming, or would I stand alone? At 10 sharp, the main doors opened. The rumble of voices was almost overwhelming, but I recognized my mother first. She looked smaller than I remembered, her coat soaked, hair freshly curled. Dad followed, hands shoved deep into his pockets, fidgeting. Merle trailed behind, lips painted the color of bruised cherries, and Uncle Raj, scarf knotted tight as if to ward off scrutiny. I approached, nerves crawling up my throat. "Hey, thanks for coming." Mom tried to pull me into a hug. "You look so grown up." Dad nodded, eyes flicking over the table and displaying